in my school, like, you get talked about if you don't like have stuff that other people have, like like newest shoes, newest clothes, the best phone or anything. So people like me, like, it's usually talked about and made fun of, pushed around.
I had a kid who sat next to me who told me that he was gonna sneak into my room one night and kill me. This girl said, "Wow, anorexic much? Couldn't she, like, eat more? Could those jeans be, like, any bigger on her?" I get scared because I'm worried that when I go to school every day, somebody might make fun of me. I feel like I can't be myself because I'll get made fun of, because people might judge me and think I'm weird.
It's heartbreaking.
It's really hard to watch.
And that's just a small portion of the video. That's a presentation that the group Generations Against Bullying is bringing to schools around Wisconsin and the Midwest.
And here to tell us more about it is the president, Linda Lee, along with Annie Jorgensen, Miss High School America, who is from Homestead High School in Mequon. Nice to have both of you here, and nice to see you again, too. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about GAB, which stands for Generations Against Bullying, and what this group does.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, we are a community-based, nonprofit, hands-on organization, and we recognize that each community has their own set of challenges, and through those challenges we recognize that bullying is an epidemic in our nation. And what we do is, our first thing we have a riveting 54-minute movie that, through the help of Non-Box and Bill Eisner, it's by Lee Hirsch, and through special permission, Anderson Cooper. And this riveting 54-minute movie brings in the whole community. See, we know that schools can't tackle this problem alone. This is a community problem. We know that it's an epidemic in our nation, that it's going to take the parents, the children, the teachers, the administrators, the local businesses, the churches, and law enforcement. Together as a community, we have to face it. And that's what we're doing. We've had an audience of 1,200 watch the movie, and you couldn't hear a pin drop.
Well, just in that little snippet that we've been watching here, I mean, it's just silence, you know. It hits you home to think that children are that scared to be themselves, that scared to go to school, that scared to go home at night because, you know, other children are taking away their feeling of safety even at home, where they should feel the safest many times. One thing that makes you guys so different is this peer ambassador group, that you really do call on other teens and other kids, as you mentioned, which is partly where you come in, Annie.
Right, exactly.
Taking on this as your platform as Miss High School America. What do you think as teens, as peers, do people really listen to you, or they think, oh, she's kind of above it because you come in with a crown on?
Well, to begin with the Peer Ambassador program, I think you can do so much. You can only do so much with the authoritative figures in the school or in the community, the law enforcement. They can only do so much. It really does come back on the individual to stand up to the bullying, or just to make the conscious decision not to be a bully, or if you see it happening, just stand up, be an upstander to it. And so that's why the Peer Ambassador program is so great. It holds people to a higher standard. It makes them aware of, if they see it going on, that it's their duty, it's their job to stand up to it. And so when I go in to talk about my national platform, which is called The Crown Cares, Creating a Respectful Environment in Schools, that's really what I go in and talk about, just to hold yourself to a higher standard, to make sure that you know bullying's not okay, and that you need to be an ally to those people who are the victims, and even to the bully. Make sure that they know it's not okay to do that, but you're there. They've made mistakes, but they can move on from it.
Well, it's funny because while both of you were talking, I was thinking about something that someone said quite a while ago, and we're looking at some of the pictures too from school visits, which I think is great, that you go out into the community and meet kids where they're at to kind of deliver this message. But I remember somebody once saying, if you think that kids aren't being bullied, or that there aren't any bullies in your school, go home and ask your kids, who's the bully?
Exactly.
And what's so funny is most every child can answer that question. And while some kids will say, report feeling very safe at school, and that they're not necessarily victims, most kids can identify the bully at their school. And that's just, it gets to the point that it is something that's worthy of our attention and our commitment with our time.
Right, you definitely don't want to think that there's bullying going on in your school, but when I go into a school, most of the time I don't know anything about the school or
Right.
what's going on, and so just to learn a little bit about it, I have everyone close their eyes who's listening and have them raise their hand and see if they've been the bully or been bullied or have seen bullying going on. In every school I go into, almost everybody's hand raises, so it's happening everywhere, and so that's why our program is really important.
Well, and it's not isolated. I think that's
Right.
that's the point of all that too. What kinds of things have you guys accomplished? Because it's one thing to identify it. It's one thing to say, okay, let's have these peers go in and talk to other students. Let's have the community, the law enforcement, the teachers, the parents on board. But is it making a difference? What have you guys seen in terms of accomplishments?
Tremendous. We've really, it's been so exciting, and to see the children reach out and be able to talk about it. You know, one of the alarming statistics, and this is the key that provoked us to get the Peer Ambassador program going, is that 85% of the time the bullying will stop within the first 10 seconds if the bystander becomes the upstander. I mean, let's just think about that for
And what
a
does
moment.
that mean to become the upstander?
It means to stop the bullying. So many kids are afraid because they themselves are afraid to be bullied. They themselves are just happy it's not them. And it's going to take the courage and the confidence to stand up to the bullying. And we know it's working now through our peer ambassadors. We've had one that was been cyberbullied for years. And 3 of the other peer ambassadors, after reading this text, said to this young man, actually said to the bully, "Knock it off, we've got your back." So, we know that it's working. We know that the success that even we've had in getting into the schools, Rolling Hills Elementary has been just so exciting. And Annie's actually received a number of responses and still keeps in touch with these young individuals.
Wonderful. Who are your friends there next to you?
Well, this is really what the Peer Ambassador program is about. It's about empowering the children. We know they're the ears and the eyes of the school, so we need to take this very serious message and incorporate it into a positive way.
Yes.
Similar to creating, none of the kids are going to listen to a lecture. And
So how do you use those?
they actually have a portable theater, and they have developed the scripts. They have developed the role plays based on the challenges of what they see going on in the school, and they are on fire. They are having so much fun with these guys.
So through puppets, they can say
Yes.
things that maybe they wouldn't ordinarily bring to the attention of an adult.
Exactly, and it's so much fun. Some of them are a little bit, if you have somebody a little bit shy, or through the puppets, they have no problem whatsoever. They're on fire.
I think, and they're called the Gabbets.
Gabbets, yes.
It's so cute. We're almost out of time, but I just want to hear from you, Annie. Just what's like one positive note that you've heard from a kid out there who you've spoken to?
It was actually while we were in McGuanago, there was a big movie night after school one day, and so we were there, and after the fact, I always try to talk to some of the students that are there, and so one guy came up to me afterwards, and he said, "Thank you so much for coming." Thank you. And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, it was really fun. Thanks for having me." And he was like, "You don't understand. Like, thank you. I've been struggling with depression because of the bullying throughout my life, and thank you. Like, I realize that I have a purpose, I'm important, and I'm supposed to be here." So just hearing that kind of response it's why I do it. So
Keeps you going. I think that's so fantastic. We have information because there's the first annual fundraiser with Miss High School America that's coming up, and Mrs. Wisconsin too, and that is June 23rd from 6 until 8 p.m. You can find out more about the Generations Against Bullying organization by calling their phone number. It's 414-241-2465, or visiting their website. It's gabnow.org. We so appreciate your time today.
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Thank you
And
so
we're very
much.
proud of you because she's a local girl who won the local title, went on to win the national title. So
Yes,
very
thanks.
good.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
You have
we
these-
have a gift from our peer
Thank you so
ambassadors. They
much.
would like you to have one of their
Oh,
T-shirts.
that's
Fantastic.
wonderful.
They'd like you to have a color of our bracelet.
Thank you
That's
so
awesome.
much.
Thank you guys both
That's really
so
great.
much. Really appreciate
you.
it.
Well,